Good morning. It's been quite some time since I've filmed. It is currently the middle of June. I think the last time I filmed anything was probably late October, early November of last year. Yeah, needless to say, it's been a busy few months. Honestly, I think it's been like 6, which is crazy. Last video I made was prepping the E36, which I'm sitting in right now, for Beamer Fever last year. All that went well. Everything went well. Rear bumper, all that, as good as I could have hoped. The event was good. I forgot my GoPro that morning, so I didn't film anything of that. But that's okay. There's always next year. So, well, this year, really, if I even make it there. I have been busy working on my good friend Omar's E30, mostly. He wanted a whole bunch of stuff done so it could be finished and drivable from Dallas all the way up to Washington for E30 picnic. And I didn't film any of it, unfortunately. I was just more focused on getting it done because there was a pretty big time crunch. I think he even took it to the Vintage down at Circuit of the Americas in Austin. So yeah, got a lot of stuff done for him. And yeah, so I've just been super busy with that, as well as wedding stuff. Since I am getting married this October, so that's coming up really quick. So yeah, I really haven't done a whole lot to my cars other than just, you know, typical maintenance stuff until now. Now that I have Omar's car done, it's time to finally focus on my stuff. Today I'm going to show you what I have done, and actually is going to be the start of the next video. So here we go. Okay, well, here we are. This is a little bit of a side project that I've been working on. I did pick up some Vaders for the E36 here. A huge shout out to Abel for actually sourcing these for me. He found these on Marketplace for a smoking deal, picked them up, and I told him I would buy them off of him. The driver's seat here was in absolutely god-awful shape. The butt pad here was completely like rotted out from so many farts, and it was molded. As you can see, there's mold on this leather here. Really gross. I guess these sat outside for quite some time. They are I'm assuming the early version, because they do not have a removable seat back. This is fixed to the actual frame, and then the leather tucks into a little channel down here. So I found that out. I didn't even realize that there was 2 different versions of Vaders, other than manual and power. But these are manual. They are the fixed back version, so super cool there. Passenger seat is the one I'll be making the video on. I did want to get the driver's seat done first. That way I knew kind of how everything went together. Glad I kind of waited, because I actually got the wrong version of leather from L-Seat. So the fixed back version here, like I said, does slip or clip in with J-channel clips in the back there. The other version actually secures to the seat back frame with like claw hook type things, and then the seat back cover finishes that all off and covers it. So the other style did not fit this, of course. I had to wait another month in order to get these. So this has been a 2-month-long wait process to this step. So again, this is gonna be a video on the passenger seat, showing y'all what I did. Learning from my mistakes on the driver's seat, I am gonna do things a little bit differently on the passenger seat. So if you couldn't tell, I do have suede on the headrest and seat back. This still has the vinyl. As you can see, vinyl is in pretty rough shape here. So on the driver's seat, I spent probably like 6 hours peeling the vinyl off piece by piece on the seat back and the headrest, and it was absolutely awful. I will not do that again. The other thing that I'm doing is I have deleted the nets. So I will be cutting these clips and then just filling in the holes there. I don't need nets. I mean, there's no real reason to have them. It was cool when it was a thing back then, but obviously now don't really need them. So that's why we're doing this, a little bit more clean and simple looking. One downside is I did get a bunch of glue on the outside, a couple of different spots on the seat back. So I got to take care of that later, but not a big deal. It's going to be really sweet looking in the car to get rid of my old raggedy sport seats. So yeah, I'm excited. So I guess for starters, we'll get the driver's seat put in now that I have kind of a walk around on it. And then the next few clips, which will probably be over the next couple of weekends, will be me disassembling and refitting all of this to look like that. Oh yeah, it sounds lovely. It's terrible, actually. And just like that, after sweating a whole lot, I have Vader seats. Alright, here is the finished headrest. Some wrinkles to get out with the steam gun whenever that shows up. I did have to add a little bit of foam here at the bottom to kind of fill that in. Other than that, right here on both sides is the absolute hardest part. And yeah, so that didn't come out very good. But it's together, that's all that matters. So we'll try and get some of these wrinkles out with the steamer. So it came out good. And then one little spot of glue there to get with some adhesive remover. Other than that, we are done with this headrest. Now time for the rest of the seat.
You better mute that video.
Oh, nope, this is going straight on YouTube.
Oh.
Or I'll just download it to my phone and put it on TikTok tonight. Alright, I did it. I finished with the Vaders. This passenger seat was a doozy. The foam was in better shape, but getting it together was, for whatever reason, harder than the driver's seat. And honestly, I think it came out worse than the driver's seat for whatever reason. Regardless, it's done. It looks a million times better than before, and I mean, it's a street car, it's not a show car. These are cheap. I fixed them for cheap. So, all in all, I'd say I'm happy with it. I think it's still definitely an upgrade, 110%, so I'm running with it. But here it is. All of the wrinkles and stuff that are in it are just gonna have to stay there. So here you can see where the leather is kind of pulling this way and pulling this way. Honestly, I think that's just from how it was stitched and the measurements. Not 100% obviously, but definitely a lot better. It's just wrinkles all over. Steamed it, as you've seen, and that didn't really do much. So all this, these two squares, pretty loose. That really irritates me right there. I'm not gonna pull it back apart and redo the hog rings here. I don't even think it's really gonna do much of a difference anyway. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The headrest, oh my god, the headrests were such a pain. This is just really not the correct measurement or cut. Yeah, I mean, on the OEMs, this fabric here should tuck and get stapled in the seam there. that's as tight as I could get it, honestly. So, and then even with as tight as it is right here, I wouldn't even have been able to clip in under here. So yeah, it is what it is. The other issue here is like you can see this here, that is actually plastic, the plastic J-clip that unstitched from the leather. I mean, as you can see right there. So that's definitely one of the complaints that I have with the L seat leathers, is that the stitching is just not tight in a whole lot of areas, and it does come undone, which sucks. The other thing is the leather is so much thicker than OEM that these spots here tend to just not look very well in the channels there, just because it's so much thicker. And I mean, that's even the case with a lot of these seams here. Like especially here, it's just real bulky in here, just because of how thick this leather is compared to OEM. But again, all in all, definitely looks a million times better. This foam here, this ends right here, and then this is just loose leather because there's no foam there. And then this side, you can't feel it. It transitions really nice, and then it just laid down really well. And then this side just did not. So it's kind of just one of those things. So, but again, I will a million times over take that over these sport seats. That's L seat also. And for whatever reason, this gray, silver gray, is a little bit darker than the Vaders. So the Vaders actually match the OEM light gray a little bit better. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, yank this seat out, get that seat put in. I need to clean off that seat because I've already got some dirt and grime on it from wearing my work uniform and sitting in there. So gotta get that cleaned up, probably vacuum the car, and then yeah, do a little montage.